Alright everybody, so for today's video, we're going to talk about making art from your home, what you need, how to do it well, and what to avoid. So, doing art and design at home. Number one, use what you have. Be creative. Uh, Whether you have a lot of things, a lot of art supplies and materials at home, good for you, or if you don't have anything, that's still great. No matter what you have, the important thing is to be creative, resourceful, and technically savvy with what you got. Even though specific art tools and materials are helpful, such as those we have at J221 in our art room, they are not absolutely necessary to make great art. So we're at a disadvantage of not having our art room, but certainly you have materials at home, even if they don't seem like traditional art materials. What is it you really need? A creative spirit, resourceful mind, and well-trained hands. Those are the trademarks of all great artists and designers, such as yourselves. I want to show you guys this work of art here by a Brazilian-born artist who works now in New York City by the name of Vic Muniz. About a decade ago, he traveled back to his native Brazil because he wanted to work with the most marginalized people in his culture, which were people that worked at the dump. He got a few people that worked at the dump picking trash to work with him over an extended period of time to collect artwork, to collect trash and turn it into artwork. If you look closely at this photograph, you'll notice this is actually a floor of a big warehouse. Here are two people right here. These are some of the people that worked at the dump. They became fellow artists with Vic. And all of this right here is all trash. And all of this figure is built out of dust and dirt from the dump itself. This is made entirely out of garbage. Here's some more of his work. Each one of these pieces is inspired by a classic work of art. Each one of these pieces is also made 100% out of garbage, made by people that worked at the dump. So no matter what you guys have laying around the house, I guarantee you, with some imagination, creativity, you can turn that into artwork. So some of the things that we're used to using. X-Acto knives and cutting boards, Elmer's glue, compasses, drawing pencils, kneaded erasers, light boards, and good old construction paper. If you have those things, and you are certainly more than welcome to use them, that's great. If you don't, here are some replacements you can use at home. So instead of using a cutting board and knife, you can use some scissors. Instead of Elmer's glue, and this breaks my heart to say, you can use glue sticks. Desperate times call for desperate measures. Instead of a compass, you can use cups, bowls, plates, round objects to make those circles. Instead of, if you don't have a cutting board, you can use a piece of cardboard. It's helpful. Instead of some erasers instead of drawing pencils, you can also do regular pencils. Just do it extra soft. Instead of kneaded erasers, just use a regular gum eraser on the end of your pencil. Instead of a light board, of course, you can just put that up against a window and trace what you have from the light in the window. Now, in terms of paper, anything goes. Junk mail, wrapping paper, newspaper, cardboard, bags, fabric, etc. Whatever it is, if it's out of paper, some kind of fiber and lays flat, you could use that in place of construction paper. Aluminum foil even. It doesn't matter. All sorts of different things can take the place of construction paper. So when you're making art, some things not to do that you might think would be a good idea, but maybe you should avoid. One, putting together things using staples, tape, or any kind of Gorilla Glue or super glue. All these three things oftentimes do more damage and are harder to work with than is good. Also, you might be tempted to, being around the computer so much, to maybe get some images or ideas from the internet and just copy them off of your iPad screen. Please don't do that. One, it's not an original idea, and two, it is copyright infringement, so we don't want to do that. And most importantly of all in these times, when we're cooped up in our house with our families, Don't steal your family member's supplies. You're not going to take your little sister's crayons without telling her, or your mom's cutting board and not let her know that you took it. Uh, you know, make sure you're talking to your family members if you're going to use their supplies. So that's what not to do. Here are some things that you could be doing. My first motto for you is work physical, think digital. Your work needs to look good, not just in real life, but also for the computer. Because remember, at the end of the day, we're going to be sharing these things digitally on our discussion board. So however good they might look in real life, they also need to translate well to images on the computer. Your materials, and this is to my last point about paper, while materials are important, they're only as important as they can make an interesting digital product. So, for instance, if you couldn't glue something down, you didn't have the right kind of glue, that's okay. As long as it can lay flat and you can take a good picture of that, that would be okay. Next thing, think more, work less. So, each tool has a lot of power in it. Each material has a lot of elegance in its essence. Before you just start working away to get stuff done really quickly, just pause and think, how can you best use this tool? Or how can I most effectively use the material I'm working with? How can you use your limitations to your advantage? Think more, work less. So, for today, your activity, the first thing you're going to do is check those junk drawers, closets, cabinets, basements, garages, for things that oftentimes might get overlooked but could certainly help you either as an art tool, as an art material supply. So these are pictures of just around my house, some drawers and some file cabinets that are home to a bunch of stuff. So here's just a pencil case we had on our desk. I found scissors here, some markers, a couple of pencils. Here I have a bunch of paper that my wife happened to have, a bunch of construction paper that I know she'd be fine with me using. This is just our junk drawer that we have at our desk, and then some more paper I found. So your assignment first is going to be seek around your house for those supplies, and then collect them all, the things that you might use, neatly arrange them in a group, and then upload a photo of that into Canvas. That will create something that looks like this. This picture on the left are some of the supplies I would use maybe for making a 4x4 square. You'll notice on the base I have just an old paper bag, a scrap of blue paper, an old yellow envelope. So I don't have those construction paper colors, but I'm just finding other pieces of paper that might have those colors. And there you have it. There is that, I hate to say it, glue stick. This picture on the right is literally things I took out of our recycle bin. So we had this veggie burger box and this delicious Girl Scout Samoa's box. Here I have I have a green piece of paper, I have purple piece of paper, and then this was just a piece of junk mail we got, and I have some blue right here if I really was in a bind for some construction paper. Of course, you can go to the store and get some of these things, but if you're limiting your times to the store, you can find stuff around the house. So, just a reminder, you can really, if you put your mind to it, put your heart to it, you can make anything into a work of art. Thanks a lot, guys. You've got this. Enjoy it.